My name is Osiakwan. I'm a technology entrepreneur. This morning, I want to talk to you about the innovation that is sweeping across the continent of Africa. From Ghana to Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, we're seeing innovation that is sweeping across this continent. Africa has moved from the consumption of technology to the creation of our own technology. And this is seen in the cheetah generation. It's a generation of young entrepreneurs who have taken upon the mantle to create new businesses by hacking code. They are in Ghana, they are in Nigeria, they are in Kenya, and South Africa. And they make up the KiNGS countries, which make up the liberating innovation and opportunity nations, lions. These lions of Africa are the ones that are really changing the economy of Africa. Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa make up the KiNGS concept. These countries are the liberating innovation and opportunity nations. They are leading the innovation that we're seeing across Africa. However, there's innovation in the other countries. These innovations are coming from the cheetah generation, the young generation of entrepreneurs who are hacking code and solving problems that we see across the continent. Some of these innovations are innovations that will go global to compete with the likes of Facebook, Google, Yahoo, as we've seen in the past. And so Africa is on the rising. And for these innovations to go global, we need investment that can go into these startups. And so I founded Angel Africa. Angel Africa is essentially going to be a network of angel investors across the continent who are going to focus on investing in Africa's startups. These investors are going to be drawn from Africa and outside Africa. But essentially, they're going to invest in these startups that are creating the various innovations that we are seeing. And hopefully, at the Angel Fair that we're holding in South Africa, we'll bring these angel investors and these startups together to partner and to matchmake. Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, and South Africa make up the KiNGS countries. These countries are the liberating innovation opportunity nations, lions. Starting with Kenya, today if you go to Kenya, there are a lot of companies that are building very innovative technologies. We've heard about M-Pesa. M-Pesa is leading the financial inclusion revolution across Africa, where today you can convert airtime in your phone to money and can use it for purchases. The last time I was in Kenya, I took a cab and the driver basically asked me to pay him using M-Pesa. So I didn't have to give him cash. Right? And we're seeing more and more innovations like Ushahidi, which is a crowdsourcing platform that was built in Kenya that essentially allows you to monitor disaster issues as they happen in real time and be able to put in preventive measures. In Kenya also we see innovations like Brick, which is a new hardware that has been developed that essentially is going to make access to the internet more affordable and widespread across most parts of Africa. So we're seeing this and a lot more innovation that is coming out of Kenya, and therefore Kenya leads the kin country. Then we go to Nigeria. In Nigeria, we're seeing a lot of innovation. Iroko TV, for example, is putting African videos and Nollywood for that matter online. Today, a movie is produced in Nigeria, and the next second you can find it on YouTube. You can watch an entire movie through Iroko TV Partners platform or through other innovative platforms that are uploading African videos online. We're also seeing innovation from Nigeria, including to a very large extent mobile payment systems, money transaction, e-commerce platforms like Tracklist. In Ghana, we're also seeing a lot of innovations from the Meltwater Entrepreneurship School of Science and Technology, from the Meltwater School of Entrepreneurship, from the MEST in Ghana, we can see innovations like Dropify. Dropify is a very interesting platform that just got accepted into the $500 startup in San Francisco. And basically, it's a widget that allows you to get customer information in real time and be able to respond to customer requests. We've seen other innovations like Kuzima, which is essentially a customer response, customer feedback platform that allows you to essentially report a customer service. So if you went to a restaurant and the service was very bad, you take out your phone, go onto Kuzima, which is www.kuzima.com, and be able to say that I'm having a bad service. And the application then routes your complaint to the management of whatever facility you are, and hopefully they can respond to you. We're seeing a lot more innovations in the space in Ghana. And if you go to South Africa, there's a lot more innovations that you can see. Airtime or prepaid or prepaid airtime started in South Africa with Vodafone. We're also seeing innovations like Thought, which was started by Mark Shuttleworth and sold it to VeriSign. We've also seen recently, innovators from South Africa like Elon Musk, who is a co-founder in PayPal. So we've seen a lot of innovations coming from South Africa as well. We've seen this also in other countries like Senegal, Uganda, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Botswana, Benin, Togo. But these key countries are the countries that are really leading the pack. And if you look at Africa's economic growth, these 5 countries are also at the top of Africa's economic growth. So the KiNGS concept essentially looks at these countries as the leading lights of African innovation. And they are not only innovation in technology, they are innovation in financial services, they are innovation in banking, they are doing innovations in a lot of other things. But for the sake of technology and the fact that we're in a technology world, the technology innovations come to light. If you take these 5 countries, their GDP is currently at a global average of 5%, which is really, really interesting. As you know, 6 of the leading GDP growth countries around the world are coming from Africa, and these 5 countries are part of those countries. When we talk about Lion is basically a network of these countries, essentially to foster collaboration. So we call them the Liberating Innovation Opportunity Nation. And essentially, they are fostering collaboration because you may have an innovation in Ghana that could be relevant in Kenya. Or you may have somebody in Kenya who is trying to innovate something. But if he did it with a partner in Ghana or in South Africa or in Nigeria or maybe Uganda or Somalia or for that matter another country, they could build up much faster. And so the Liberating Opportunity Nation is basically a network of nations that is quite informal, but it's also very representative in the industry as we see it today. Having been in these countries and having seen this innovation that is happening across the continent, the biggest challenge I see is getting investment into these startups. So they are great innovative ideas, as I mentioned, there's so many of them. But the challenge now is how do you finance this innovation? And one school of thought is, because we're not getting financing coming into these startups because they are not allowed, the innovation we are seeing is not world class. But you see, the challenge to that really is that until you are financing what is there, you can't get better innovation. Right? I mean, if you send 10 kids to school as opposed to 2, the probability that you get 3 or 4 better kids is higher in that sense. And so we need to fund what is there. So my view on funding startup is that we need to create momentum for investment that goes into the existing innovations that we're seeing. If you take Facebook, for example, when it started as an innovation, somebody would have thought, this is not a good idea. Who would have believed that connecting students who were in Harvard, who went to a party, and decided, let's take this party online and create a connection, would have been a great idea. But today, Facebook is a $1 billion company. Right? So we need to start finding ways of funding the existing ideas that we are seeing. And in my view, Africa has quite a considerable number of high net worth individuals, or even professionals who have disposable income in the bank that are put in other forms of investment, either fixed deposit, treasury bills, etc. The idea now is to convert those investments into startups. So to get these high net worth individuals, professionals, middle income guys to start looking at startups as alternative investment destinations, so they can start investing in these innovation that we're seeing. And so Angel Africa is essentially to build a network of angel investors, starting with high net worth individuals. There are already some African entrepreneurs and high net worth individuals who are investing in startups. So they automatically become part of Angel Africa. And essentially this network will then grow a community of angel investors who will then start investing in these startups that we are seeing across the continent. The focus is essentially to now take this globally, right? Because as I indicated, we also want to get investors from outside the continent. Today, Africa is rising, and everybody in Europe, the US, and the rest of the world, Asia, is looking at Africa. And so essentially, we're coming to the Web Summit, and we want to present some of these businesses, some of these startups that will come out of the Angel Fair that will be held in Johannesburg. and also to bring some of the investors from Africa to this global forum so they can see how other people are making investment. And the same, we want to come into the Web Summit to also interact with the investors so they can see some of the startups that we're bringing from Africa who are very ready for investment, who can go global, who can become the next big Google or Facebook from Africa.